Hello, everybody, and welcome to the November 2nd, 2025 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we're putting money into this project of ours. We're live every Sunday, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nick's News YouTube page. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like goodnewsnetwork.org and goodgoodgood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the Nick's Newsies. Hello, everybody! We are off to the races in the chat. Hello, Cassidy. Hello, Charlie. Hello, Christian. Hello, Nico. Hello, Tim. Did I miss anybody? Jeez. Hello, everybody. So happy to have you all with me tonight. Well, with us tonight, so very cool. News Brew. We did it. We've got past the dreaded pumpkin beer episode. Now it's time for a sweet reward. Producer Donna has provided us with a reprieve in the form of Left Field Brewery's Sweet Spot. Come on, camera. There we go. Took the camera a moment to figure that out. Sweet Spot is a 16.2% ABV Mocha Marshmallow Stout. They've got all sorts of fun stuff in here, some lactose, some cocoa, and some marshmallow. Toasted marshmallow, which I am looking forward to. This is a run-of-the-mill stout, not a big imperial stout like some of the ones that we drink, so for this one, we are going to use our Support Your Local Michigan Brewery pint glass. This lines up perfectly with the Dodgers' victory, the Los Angeles Dodgers' victory in the World Series. Congrats to the Dodgers, and congrats to me for surviving a pumpkin beer to get to this point. Hello, Roselia. Sounds folly. Wait, marshmallows, says Charlie. Yes, marshmallows. Let's crack this open. We don't need the Balisong bottle opener since it's a can. We'll get into the theatrics of a 25-minute pour. Straight into the pint glass. Get all that gas out so it doesn't go in me. Lot of carbonation. Very dark head. Kind of a thinner stout, but that's okay. Not every stout needs to be chewable. Sounds chewy. Tim says it's... Hey, Tim. Tim says it sounds chewy. It's running a lot thinner than some of the other stouts that we've had on episodes of Nick's News. So, I think... What's the News Brew? Julie? Hello, Julie. To catch you up, the News Brew is Sweet Spot from Left Field Brewery. It's a Mocha Marshmallow Stout. I think I'm actually just noticing that my camera... Come here, you. Is tilted slightly. For some reason, it was off-center, which was odd. We'll get it turned back, though. That looks a little bit better. I'll keep filling this glass as the episode goes on, and we'll get into some shout-outs. All right. Shout-outs. Graphics by Ashford specializes in graphic design, video editing, and effects, and photo editing as well. Besides being Nick's News' awesome graphic artist, Grayson bills himself as a bomb-ass bitch. You can contact him through Facebook or his Instagram. Link is provided in the description of our video. To our awesome graphic artist, Grayson, and graphics by Ashford. Cheers. Alrighty. It's there. There's a lot of mocha. There's a little bit of that sweet toasted marshmallow you'd get at the campfire. All right, Left Field Brewery, I see you. You made a good little stout. I could crush the heck out of this, too. This is like super low ABV, 6.2%, and it's really light drinking. I could crush this. Ooh. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain... What the heck? Uh-oh. Yeah, anybody else get that? We were buffering for a little bit. Are we still buffering? Charlie shouted buffer. Tim shouted buffer. Uh-oh, uh-oh. What's going on? How is YouTube not receiving enough video? Briefly, it's good now. Open widget. What the heck is going on? Not buffering now. All good now. It was right when you took a sip. I'm good so far. It's okay now. It's still telling me, like, it's still throwing an error at me about it. I am not sure why it would be doing that, because I have fantastic internet. Specifically for this. And for gaming. But, odd. YouTube, fix your crap, because I know it ain't me. Need to take another sip. I'll do that. I'll take a non-buffered sip because Tim told me to. No, Christian, I have the bitrate set way high. I have it set appropriately for what this thing can kick out. So, sounds like YouTube is struggling through the hour rewind. Interesting. Good to know. I'll take a celebratory sip that we got that out of the way. Fantastic. Did you know that Nick's News has a notifications list that you can join if you would like reminders about upcoming shows and events? As with all of our various outlets, we offer exclusive content to our notification subscribers. Each Wednesday, you get a special treat, as well as a show reminder for Sunday afternoon and an hour before the live show. So you're going to get a couple of alerts throughout the week, a Wednesday alert, and you're also going to get a couple on Sunday, just to be reminders that the show's kicking off. If you would like to receive reminders on Facebook or Instagram or even Discord, let us know and we will get things coordinated. We do not share or sell your information to anyone ever. That is not in our bag. That's not what we do. All you have to do is send a message to the Nick's News Facebook page, send it to us on Discord. If you want to contact producer Donna or me, message us, email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are in the description. One way or another, we'll figure out how to get an alert out to you if you want to join the notifications list. So to everybody that's on it, and to anybody that wants to be on it, cheers. Sip for baby Hugo, the pygmy hippo viewing. Yes. Julie says, it's true, you get alerts. Julie is one of our members. All right, news quote. Great thoughts come from the heart. I was told earlier by a Frenchman how to pronounce this. I am now going to botch it because I didn't practice. I believe that this is a quote from Luc de Clapiers, Marquis de Vaurvenargues. Vaurvenargues? Oh no, see? I am going to butcher it horribly. Luc de Clapiers, Marquis de Vaurvenargues. Vaurvenargues? It might be Vaurvenargues. I could be butchering it. I'm going to catch flack later. This gentleman lived from 1715 to 1747 and was a French writer and moralist. Yep, Donna is laughing at me. Thanks, Donna. So, she's telling the Frenchman that I screwed up. So again, great thoughts come from the heart. From Luc de Clapiers, Marquis de Vaurvenargues. Vaurvenargues. It's French. Roselia goes, why didn't you tell me you needed help pronouncing that? Because I forgot you speak French. And also, I have a Frenchman to ask about these. I just forgot. Cheers. All right. Producer Donna got me an interpreter. She can't be blamed for this one. Bug update. Elmira is definitely in sleep mode, so we will hold off on any more alerts regarding Elmira until something happens later next year, effectively. I will probably spruce up her home. I'll add some more plants and maybe some new moss, and she can destroy it all when she wakes up. just like she did this last time. Ripley is doing very well, just scuttling around and leaving her dairy cows alone, so it's very nice to see. She's very well fed and happy, and just likes to scuttle. If you caught our Instagram post last week, on Tuesday, you got to see Big Tom and the Cuddle Puddle, aka my roaches, my Madagascar hissing roaches. They're all doing very well. What with daylight savings, now that the nightlight is going off a little earlier, they get more time to explore because they're very nocturnal. Last but not least, Sue is choosing to be a shut-in. Not gonna lie, Sue, you're being a bit of a brat. I am really hoping that Tuesday on our Instagram I will have a new picture of Sue to post, but we will find out. I don't know. Of course, people message me while I'm doing my live stream. I should just throw my phone, just yeet that sucker into the next room over. But oh well. Charlie laughs in bilingual. Alright, let's get into our good news. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice touchy-feely articles we like to end on. Sue says I do what I want. Thanks, Julie. So we're going to start off in category 1, science and technology. We've got one article in here today, and we called it Supporting More Than Muscles. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Christian used to throw their phone to the other side of the room during meetings in their last office. I should do the same. No yeeting phone. I need to be able to get a hold of you without 3-second delay, says producer Donna. This 3D printed bridge absorbs 142% more carbon than regular concrete. It's inspired by human bones. This was published on October 20th of 2025 to goodgoodgood.co by Cameron Baker. With concrete accounting for about 8% of global carbon emissions, architecture and construction industries have been hard at work trying to find a material similarly affordable, versatile, strong, and available to build new structures. A research team at the University of Pennsylvania may have cracked the case. While they haven't entirely eliminated concrete from their work, they've designed a bridge called Diamante that is modularly 3D printed using a concrete mixture containing diatomaceous earth, a naturally porous material made from fossilized algae. Most conventional concrete does absorb some carbon dioxide, about 30% of its emissions over its entire life, according to reporting from CNN. But Diamante's concrete mixture absorbs 142% more than traditional concrete mixes. By switching out some concrete for other materials, this can help reduce the normal concrete footprint of carbon. But the design is another key element to making a more sustainable structure. The first prototype by the researchers, led by Masad Akbarzadeh, an associate professor of architecture and director of the Polyhedral Structures Laboratory, was a pedestrian bridge. I suddenly feel like I missed an engineering in here, but looking through, I don't think I did, and I'm pretty sure the chat would burn me alive if I had. Hello, Yavean. Yeah, it looks like I didn't miss one. This pedestrian bridge used 60% less material than a typical bridge while retaining its mechanical strength. The researchers based their design around porous bones. That's right, the human skeleton provided the insight for this architectural marvel. Through millions of years of evolution, nature has learned that you don't need material everywhere. Akbarzadeh explained to CNN. If you take a cross-section of a bone, you realize that bone is quite porous, but there are certain patterns within which the load, or weight, is transferred. The designers mimicked the structures in certain bones to increase the surface area of the bridge, which also increased the special 3D printed material mixture's ability to absorb carbon by an additional 30%. The surface area, together with this material property, maximizes the reaction with carbon at the microscopic level, Akbarzadeh said. That contributes a lot to both carbon dioxide reduction and absorption. The bridge is 3D printed in blocks using a robotic arm and then connected with a tensile cable. No adhesives or grout are used in the connections, making the bridge entirely demountable and recyclable. This approach, according to Akbarzadeh, reduces construction time, materials, and energy use by 25% compared to typical construction techniques. The Diamante's structural system also reduces the need for steel by 80%. Akbarzadeh's team first built a 5-meter long prototype and later a 10-meter version to test for feasibility and load-bearing capacity. It exceeded all our expectations, Akbarzadeh said. The prototype is currently on display at the European Cultural Center in Venice for the Venice 2025 Architectural Biennial, where the team originally hoped to build the real-life bridge. However, the city changed its regulations around new large-scale structures, so the researchers had to go back to the drawing board. Armed with some digital renderings of the bridge over the River Seine in Paris, France, they have now secured approval to construct the first Diamante bridge in France, although exact locations are still being determined. No, you didn't, but it does feel like one should be in there. It says Charlie, regarding the engineering. Tim asks, how do you read along and listen to Nick when you post it? Sorry, don't mean to interrupt. When you post... Oh, I get what you mean, Tim. If folks are on their computer, if they're not watching on their phone, then you can just copy, you can click on the link, and then you can access the article and read along with me. At home, that's what I kind of mean by that. Way back in the day when we started doing good news articles with Nick's News in the way back, I would mostly post them and kind of just go through the article with everybody who was watching at the time. It wasn't just me reading it. It was me also actively taking questions from it and such. So it's kind of a holdover from those times. It's become me going through and reading the entire article now. But if folks want to read along or read it at their leisure, they can just click the link in the chat. Or they can click the link in the description. All the links for the articles are in the description, too. So there's a couple ways. The researchers are excited to use the first location as a case study for real-world applications of their designs and materials. And they continue to research concrete alternatives for other types of structures, including flooring systems. That's flooring systems with an L in there. You're welcome, Tim. The moment we stopped thinking about concrete as static and started seeing it as dynamic, Akbarzadeh told Architect News, we opened up a whole new world of possibilities. That is really cool. What is his complete title? To the researchers at University of Pennsylvania, and their lead researcher, Mossad Akbarzadeh, an associate professor of architecture and the director of the Polyhedral Structures Laboratory, for designing a bridge that's built out of a design of bones. Cheers! Oh, and diatomaceous earth, which is awesome. Oh, that beer is so much better than that pumpkin beer from last week. All right. That's going to get us out of science and technology. We're going to move on to category 2, health and medicine. We call this one, Nature Provides a Cleaner Cut. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. And it's going to be readily apparent why we chose to do this one. Surgical tools could get a bug-inspired upgrade. This was published on October 7th of 2025 to Popular Science by Laura Bisis. If you're one of those people who serve as a veritable mosquito buffet in the summer, it might seem like insects just bite through skin indiscriminately. However, for female sawflies, their cuts are incredibly specific. They cut into plants in very specific ways, with the insects knowing which materials to slice through and which ones to avoid. Scientists have now learned how to use an egg-laying organ, called an ovipositor, to act like a saw that knows when to make a cut and when to push material to the side. The findings are detailed in a study recently published in the journal Bioinspiration and Biomimetics. That's biomimetics. And could be used to create better surgical instruments that could reduce the amount of healthy tissue cut during operations. In order to lay their eggs, female sawflies must cut into plants without killing their plant host. The plants then provide food for their developing larvae, so they must be kept alive. The flies' two-toothed blades slide against each other, but will only cut materials that are below a certain threshold. This biological sensitivity in their saw prevents damage to the plant's vital structures while making precise incisions for egg laying. We've discovered something remarkable, a cutting mechanism that essentially thinks for itself. Dr. Marty oh no, there's more French. No, not more French. Dr. Marty Vertigue Malorki. I apologize, doctor. I'm sorry. A study co-author and materials engineer at Heriot-Watt University in Scotland said in a statement, "The sawfly's egg-laying organ can cut through soft plant tissue, but automatically avoids the plant's tough internal plumbing, including the tubes that carry water and nutrients. This ensures the plant survives and serves as a food supply for the larvae coming from the eggs. According to the team, the geometry and physical composition of the tooth and how it interacts with different materials in the plant makes this selective cutting possible. There are no sensors or computers, but rather elegant engineering refined by millions of years of evolution," said Vertigue Malorki. Not French, says Christian. That did not sound like French, said Cassidy. I could be wrong. I'm going to post this doctor's name. Y'all can tell me how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Good luck, chat. In the new study, the team looked at two sawfly species, Rogogaster scalaris and Hoplocampa brevis. They used electron microscopy and 3D imaging to decipher the precise geometry of their cutting teeth. Small serrations on the teeth appear to work together with larger protrusions to create this selective cutting action. They also found that different tooth designs are optimized for cutting into specific plant tissue layers. To test its applicability to humans, the team scaled up the sawfly's cutting mechanism 400 times and tested it on fake human tissue in the lab. They saw that the cutting mechanism systems operates on what's called an ultimate stress threshold. If a material falls below this threshold, they are cut cleanly. If they are above it, they are moved out of the cutting zone without harm. This discovery has profound potential implications for surgical practice, added study co-author and electrical engineer Marc Desmouliez. Current surgical tools often struggle in complex operations. Surgeons frequently work in blood-flooded environments where visibility is poor and the risk of accidentally cutting vital structures is high. Producer Donna is letting me know chat and vid are not synced. It might be because of the buffer issue we ran into earlier. The team interviewed surgeons about the limitations of current surgical tools, and 86% reported that blood accumulation impairs their visibility and increases the likelihood of a mistake. Close to 80% expressed concerns about accidental tissue damage in surgery, while 57% called for better and more discriminate tool designs. A surgical instrument based on this natural mechanism could instinctively avoid critical tissues whilst cutting precisely where it is needed, essentially giving surgeons a tool that helps prevent mistakes, Desmouliez added. Further input is now needed from surgeons, but this newly discovered mechanism has tantalizing prospects. The sawfly's more passive cutting mechanism could become a bio-inspired solution to this problem. Unlike complex robotic systems that need sensors and computational control, an approach inspired by the sawfly could be selective through pure mechanical design. According to the team, surgical saws and scalpels based on this principle could fuse the precision of scissors with the safety benefits of electrosurgical tools without the thermal damage risks. The study examined only 2 species out of over 8,000 known sawfly species, so there is still a huge reservoir of untapped inspiration for engineering solutions. Different species have evolved distinct tooth shapes for different plant hosts, so there could be multiple surgical applications that benefit from studying sawflies. What's particularly exciting is that this mechanism seems to work across multiple sawfly species, each adapted to different plant types, said Vertigar Malorki. I hate this name. This suggests we could develop a range of surgical tools, each optimized for different tissue types or surgical procedures, all based on these natural cutting systems that have been perfected over millions of years. To everybody from the Harriet Watt University team working on adapting surgical tools to match the incredible cutting capabilities of sawflies, cheers. I don't know how to update things potentially so that chat and video are more synced. That buffering situation definitely didn't do us any favors. Alright, we called this next one, we're tooting our own horn with this one. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Screen time isn't all bad. Inspirational videos may help reduce stress as much as meditation, study finds. This was published on the 31st of October to Nice News by Stephanie Friedman. Christian says, seems pretty in sync to me. Thanks, Christian. When stress creeps in while we're at work, running errands, or waiting for dinner to finish cooking, we may turn to a social media scroll for a quick distraction. While this isn't always the most effective strategy for finding our inner calm, a recent study says that our phones could help lessen our anxiety, because consuming a specific type of content may reduce stress just as effectively as meditation does. Published by the American Psychological Association, the research found that watching short inspirational videos over a 5-day period helped lower participants' stress levels for up to 10 days afterwards. And those who meditated for the same amount of time felt the same effects. Do you know what you could watch throughout the week? The Knicks News TikToks. The key to the anxiety reduction? Feeling hopeful. You could also watch our videos and spread it out across a week. What we found is that even a few minutes of watching content that makes people feel hopeful can put a dent in that stress, lead author Robin Nabi said in a press release. It's a short, simple, and even enjoyable break, and it can make a meaningful difference in helping people feel more optimistic and able to handle what's in front of them. Producer Donna also throwing in, we just so happen to have a TikTok channel. The researchers conducted a 4-week-long online experiment involving about 1,000 adults during the interval between Thanksgiving and Christmas, a stressful time of the year for many Americans. After identifying the participants' initial stress levels, the team divided them into 4 groups and gave them media prescriptions of either watching professionally produced inspiring videos, watching comedic content, listening to guided meditations, or scrolling through content of their choice on their mobile device for 3 to 5 minutes a day. A control group was also designated. While the comedic videos included humor akin to what you'd see in a slapstick skit or on a late-night comedy show, the inspirational media featured stories of people overcoming adversity, For instance, one clip depicted a cancer survivor who'd conquered Mount Everest. The guided meditations consisted of audio samples from videos on the Calm app, and the mobile device group was simply instructed to use their smartphones or computers as they normally would when taking a break or trying to relax. After the 5 minutes were up each day, the participants recorded their emotional states and stress levels. The comedic videos, while entertaining, didn't impact stress. But compared to the control group, those who watched the inspirational or guided meditation videos felt significantly more hopeful, which predicted lower stress levels in the following days. Hope isn't just uplifting in the moment, Nabi said. It can also motivate people to deal with the challenges in their lives. When people see others overcoming adversity, as they did in our inspiring videos, it can spark the belief that they too can persevere, survive, and thrive. That sense of possibility helps counteract stress and can have enduring benefits beyond the simple moment of viewing. However, Nabi also noted that these media prescriptions shouldn't replace meditation or other evidence-supported anxiety-reducing strategies. But rather, this is one more tool we can add to our toolbox to handle the stress that so many of us feel, she said. That is really cool. To everybody involved in this study done by the American Psychological Association, headed by lead author Robin Nabi, regarding watching inspirational videos and having it help uplift you to the same level as meditation. Cheers. Subtle plug, Nick News has a TikTok. We do inspirational videos. All right. That is going to get us out of health and medicine. We are going to move on to category 3, flora and fauna. And we call this one, Meet the Bionic Sloth Bear. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Vasi the sloth bear becomes the first of his species to receive a prosthetic paw. This was published on October 15th to Nice News by Stephanie Friedman. At the Vaurvenargues Bear Rescue Center on the outskirts of Bengaluru in southern India, a sloth bear with a penchant for peanut butter and honey recently made history. Vasikaran first arrived at the facility in 2019 with an injured paw that had to be amputated. But now he's the first known sloth bear in the world to wear a prosthetic paw, allowing him to walk comfortably on all 4 legs. That achievement is thanks in large part to Derek Campana, a pioneer in veterinary orthotics and prosthetics. Campana's company, Bionic Pets, has fitted more than 25,000 animals, including camels, raccoons, and elephants, with custom-made devices to help them move freely. Earlier this year, he took on the challenge of creating one for a wild bear for the first time. But he was only able to do so because Vasikaran, nicknamed Vasi, had already received ample care after his injury. When nonprofit Wildlife SOS initially brought Vasi to the rescue center at around 10 years old, he was suffering from severe wounds and an infection caused by a poacher's wire snare trap, resulting in the amputation of his left hind paw. Although he healed after a few months, he was forced to distribute his weight on 3 legs and deemed unfit for release back into the wild. So instead, Vasi took up permanent residence at the center, where he became a caretaker favorite. The name Vasikaran means beauty, beautiful bear. The nonprofit's director of research and veterinary operations, Arun A. Shah, said in an episode of The Wizard of Paws, a docuseries chronicling Campana's work with animals. So I immediately thought of giving that name to him. Before Campana created the prosthetic, caregivers helped Vasi get used to the feeling of a foreign object attached to his leg by wrapping his paw in soft cloth. That's my biggest thing going into this, is will he accept a prosthesis, or he's going to just tear at it, take it off constantly, Campana said. So that's a big challenge for me. After examining the bear's injured leg to visualize the prosthetic he'd need to make, Campana created a mold and spent several days building the device. The final product incorporates plaster to help it easily slide on and off, as well as crampons, devices often used for ice climbing that Campana deployed to mimic the animal's claws. And thankfully, Vasi embraced the prosthetic, balancing his weight evenly on all four legs and moving adeptly through his enclosure. It's not limiting him at all, Campana said, adding, "This is huge for Vasi. It's going to extend his life. It's going to make him a lot more comfortable. It's going to allow his body to stay healthy for a longer period of time, so the sky's the limit for Vasi." Now, the device is occasionally removed and then reattached to prevent irritation, and it's given the bear newfound confidence. As for Shah and the caretakers at the center, they're overjoyed at the difference the prosthetic has made. "We believe each and every animal matters, and that every life matters," Shah said. Whether it is a smaller sized life or a bigger sized life, we should learn to coexist with these animals. We need to give that respect to each and every life. To everybody involved at the Bannergata Bear Rescue Center with the care of Vasi, and to Derek Campana and his company, Bionic Pets, for creating a prosthetic for this bear's left hind paw so that he can get around on all fours again. Cheers. Tim asked, "Do I take donations for Nick's News?" I do not, actually. I think that's something that we don't do. We don't have a Patreon. We don't have donations. We really don't. And I think that's all right. Maybe, like, in the future, if or when Nick's News continues to... I mean, we are continuing to grow, which is fantastic. I don't know. Maybe we'll need to. There's a lot of streamers out there. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. I really haven't thought about that. You know, it hasn't crossed my mind. I might take beer donations. I'll always take beer donations. We actually had a news brew suggestion sent in. I'm going to have to go hunting for it when it comes out, and it should be a banger. So, but yeah, at this time, we don't really do donations. But thank you for asking. Yes, as producer mentioned, we do have merch. We've got stickers. We've got some other odds and ends. We're going to have more stuff down the road. So, yeah, probably that's the best way to donate is just the merch. We have sticker packs. They're really cool. All right. That's going to get us out of flora and fauna. We're going to move on to category 4, wholesome notes. We've got 2 articles in this section, and this first one was sent in by Mike. We called it A Very Sweet Success. Mike, thank you very much for sending this one in. I will copy and paste this into the chat for you all to read along. Hey, there he is. Free snacks for straight A's. Deli owner champions student success. This was published on June 12th of 2025 to the BET by Jasmine Browley. I'm actually going to bump the zoom on this just a little bit so I can read it a little better. There we go. Studies show that non-monetary rewards, like recognition or small treats, can boost children's academic performance by reinforcing positive behavior. That's part of the reason why local deli owner, Whale Wally Alselwi, launched a heartwarming campaign to encourage academic excellence among local youth. The program, called Grades for Grabs, rewards students who bring in report cards with high grades by allowing them to choose items from his store, sometimes even handing out $100 bills for straight A averages. Since beginning the initiative in 2023, Al-Selwi has welcomed dozens of students to Zach's Finest Deli and Grocery. One viral TikTok video featured 11-year-old Russell, who earned a 92.67% average. Al-Selwi celebrated by giving him $100, a t-shirt, and letting him select food for himself and his mother, who works as a baker. Popularly known on TikTok as the Island Ock, Al-Selwi's community-driven efforts warm the hearts of social media users. One Reddit user wrote, "A chip. I love when the kids get something for the fam," in response to the initiative. This grassroots movement was sparked by a friendly bet in 2023 with 12-year-old Zamir Davis. After Davis earned an 88% average, Al-Selwi rewarded him with a milkshake. The moment went viral, prompting Al-Selwi to expand the reward system so that all students with averages above 80% can grab whatever they want. Those with 70 to 80% get $10 worth of goods, and Stellar Improvement draws custom rewards. Financing comes in part from sales of Island Ock merchandise, including backpacks and t-shirts, and a GoFundMe campaign, which we do have the link for in the description. Students are even traveling from other parts of New York to participate. Al-Selwi hopes the model will spread, saying he wants students to feel seen, supported, and motivated towards greatness. Community leaders, including Staten Island Borough President Vito Fasella, have praised Al-Selwi's work and issued certificates of appreciation. Parents echo that sentiment. "It makes him want to go hard," said one mother about her son's renewed school effort. Al-Selwi's initiative is more than a reward system. It's a powerful reminder that encouragement, acknowledgement, and community investment can invite lasting educational motivation in young minds. To deli owner Wael Wally Al-Selwi and his Island Ock setup, where he is promoting students to reach for the stars in their academics and is rewarding them for such. And to Mike for sending in this article. Cheers. Mike says, "Some were getting treats, others were getting actual groceries to help at home. It was fantastic. I absolutely love that." All right, time for our final article of the night, and we have come up with another sort of category title. So what I mean by that is, if you watch our show, you'll notice that sometimes we duplicate the same article titles. Like we come up with our own, catchy names for the articles, but sometimes we'll repeat them, and that could be like, "I'm not crying, you're crying," "Heckin' Good Boy," and obligatory cat article, "All the Buzz" if it has to do with bees. We've had a lot of articles over time that have been when groups that you may not necessarily expect go above and beyond for others. And so for that, we've made another sort of group article title. And that one is "Sometimes It Takes a Village." With everything going on right now here in the United States, it is important to emphasize when help comes, even if it is from unlikely sources. So we're going to get into this article. It is very interesting to me, at least, that, what's going on as we read through. You'll kind of get a gist of it, and I'll probably go off the rails a little bit here and there, because it's really hard not to with this article. But yeah, definitely, sometimes it takes a village. I will copy and paste this into the chat if you all want to read along. Airlines are feeding air traffic controllers as they miss their first full paychecks. This was published to CBS News on October 31st of 2025 by Megan Cerullo. Some airlines are stepping in to help feed air traffic controllers and other unpaid federal aviation workers who missed their first full paycheck on Tuesday, day 28 of the government shutdown. United Airlines told CBS News that it is helping support essential workers who are going unpaid during the stalemate in Washington, D.C. United is donating meals for air traffic controllers and other federal workers whose pay is delayed. We appreciate the hardworking federal employees who are keeping the air travel system running, the airline said in a statement. United said that it's feeding workers at the airline's hubs across the country, including in Chicago, Denver, Houston, Los Angeles, Newark, New Jersey, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. Delta Airlines also confirmed to CBS News that it has arranged for a limited number of meals for transportation sector workers, while noting that it is operating within the strict rules established for employees of federal government agencies. American Airlines this week told CBS News that it is also providing meals for its air traffic controllers, Transportation Security Administration or TSA officers, and Customs and Border Protection or CBP officers at more than 7 airports across the country. For example, at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas, American sent dozens of pizzas to air traffic controllers last week, the airline said. Additionally, JetBlue said it is working with its federal partners, including local aviation officials, to offer meals at our airports as a gesture of support. The airline said it's working with the Transportation Security Administration, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and Federal Aviation Administration to coordinate those efforts. At a press conference on Tuesday at LaGuardia Airport in New York, U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy highlighted air traffic controllers' financial struggles as they go without pay. This is day 1, he said, of controllers missing their first full paychecks. Day 2 gets harder, and day 3 is harder after that, as expenses continue to roll in. Duffy also noted that controllers are calling in sick in larger numbers than usual, as some seek side gigs in companies like Uber or DoorDash to make ends meet during the shutdown. Speaking at the same event, National Air Traffic Controllers Association President Nick Daniels also emphasized the financial pressure on his members. Air traffic controllers have to have 100% of focus 100% of the time. He said, and I'm watching air traffic controllers going to work. I'm getting the stories. They're worried about paying for medicine for their daughter. I got a message from a controller that said, I'm running out of money. And if she doesn't get the medicine she needs, she dies. That's the end. On average this year, 5% of flight delays were attributed to air traffic controllers' shortages, Duffy said. The personal shortages at some airports were responsible for roughly 44% of the 8,700 flight delays on Sunday, while accounting for 24% of Monday's delays, according to Duffy. Controllers were planning to gather outside at least 17 airports nationwide on Tuesday to hand out leaflets urging an end to the shutdown, according to the Associated Press. The pressure is real. Air traffic controller Joe Segreto, who works at a regional radar facility that directs planes at airports in the New York area, said at the press conference at LaGuardia. We have people trying to keep these airplanes safe. We have trainees that are trying to learn a new job that is very fast-paced, very stressful, very complex, now having to worry about how they're going to pay bills. To all of the air traffic controllers who are doing everything they can to get through this time, and to the companies, the airlines that are trying to support them and are doing everything that they can to support them. Cheers. I hate that people are put in this position, but there is a number of people trying to help them, so sometimes it takes a village. All right, that does it for us for this episode. I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Knicks News YouTube page. Producer Donna says, I have time. You can show off the stickers if you want to. So, yeah, I guess I'll go through our merch real quick. Our latest round of merch was these fantastic little stickers that are great. These were designed by my sister-in-law, which is awesome. We've got the Good News sticker. We've got Not All Heroes Wear Capes. We have the obligatory cat article sticker, which I think is adorable. We have the News Brew. And we have the square, or the rectangular Knicks News sticker. Knicks News, there we go. I think these are all fantastic. These are really good. Some of them are some of them are the logos that Grayson has made us, and some of them, were made by my sister-in-law. I love all of them. And yeah, those are available for sale. They are all super fun. Thank you very much, Mike. So yeah, that's probably the best way to support the show is buy some stickers. Yes, half were drawn by Anna, the other half were drawn by Grayson. Producer Donna designed all of them. My bad. My bad. Credit where credit's due. Half by Anna, half by Grayson, all producer Donna. So, yeah. I think that's about it for us. Again, we're live every Sunday, I think, and gosh, see, I'm all turned around on the outro. Mike asks, did you ever think starting this you'd make merch for it? No. There's more on the way, though, so surprise, surprise. We're going to have merch for Nick's News. We'll have more merch. Christian says it's not just good news, it's the best news. Christian, thank you very much. I appreciate that so much. Alright, I'm going to try the outro again. Thank you all again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nick's News YouTube page. Again, we're live every Sunday, and our next episode will be on November 9th. I encourage participation, so if you feel inclined, message or post suggestions for news brews, shoutouts, news quotes, and especially good news articles that we can present on future episodes of Nick's News. If possible, we appreciate it if you spread out the articles across our 4 major categories, which again were science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice articles we like to end on. If you don't see your article pop up in the rotation for our articles, keep an eye out for a cool news episode. Usually when we go through them, if they don't make the grade for good news, they will show up on the cool news episodes. Feel free to you can message us on Facebook or on Instagram, or email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are in the description. That's the best ways to get a hold of us, is our Facebook and Instagram, and somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment on our Facebook and Instagram content and YouTube and TikTok videos to get good news and joy out into the algorithms. Please, no SEO improvement advertisements. We're not interested. Really, thank you all so much for continuing to grow Nick's News. We do minimal advertising. It is continuously word of mouth, and all of you spreading this, knowledge of our content to others that has seen us continue to grow, and I couldn't be more thankful. Like, y'all really do the legwork of continuing to spread Nick's News across the globe and continue to see us grow and provide this product to everybody, this good news and joy and hope core. So thank you all so much. As always, thank you all. I love you. Have a great night, and I will play us out.